Welcome, you filthy animals, to Blockbuster Mentality, the show where we dive deep into the world of cinema. I'm your host, Ben Secord. This week, Dave and I dive deep into the Alfred Hitchcock classic Vertigo from 1958, starring James Stewart and Kim Novak. The Imdb synopsis for the film reads, a San Francisco detective suffering from acrophobia investigates the strange activities of an old friend's wife, all the while becoming dangerously obsessed with her. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. So I can't believe this is the first time we're doing a Hitchcock movie.
Hitchcock's Vertigo.
Hitchcock's Vertigo, and I gotta say, this is your movie, so I'm trying to embrace it. I can't wait to give you my thoughts on it.
I think you were skeptical on this one, right? Going in a little bit.
I wouldn't say skeptical. It's just I wasn't that excited to go and watch it.
So is this isn't your first time seeing it? No?
I mean, honestly, I think it's the first time I've seen it all the way through. I know I've seen it I've seen bits and pieces here and there.
I did too.
I might have seen it all the way through when I was younger and just didn't really,
I think the same for me. I can't really claim any kind of superiority here because I first saw it all the way through just a few months ago.
Okay.
And I think Hitchcock is a director we should explore a bit more. This is somebody we should go through a bit and do a few more shows on this.
Definitely.
He's kind of incredible. This movie blew me away.
Yeah.
I cannot say it enough. I was shocked by this movie. This thing was a mind F.
Yeah.
Right?
I absolutely agree because I mean, obviously we'll get into it, but I mean, it starts off with your expectation being one way. It does, something happens in that movie and you're like, oh, okay, it's this kind of movie. And then another thing happens, you're just like, okay, it's this kind of movie? Like,
right.
It totally just goes back and forth. I don't know what to believe in this movie.
Right. It's not just a twist. It's a twist, and that twist is so insane.
Yeah.
The more you think about what this movie does and what's going on with the characters, it's crazy.
Yeah, and for it to take you by surprise here in 2017,
right?
This movie came out in 1958. For it to still catch you by surprise and be this unpredictable is just phenomenal.
Yeah, I mean, when you talk about works of art, that word art gets thrown around so much. And for something, I mean, I think almost, one of the big sub-definitions, at least, of art is something that endures.
Yeah.
This thing endures.
It really does.
Crazily. I mean, this thing could be played at, and actually, I don't know about your the copy you saw, but at least mine, it looked very good. It didn't look. I feel like I've seen movies from the 80s that look worse than this
I was
thing.
going to mention that. Like, the picture was
it's
so
sharp.
clear.
Yeah, it's
and
clear.
You could tell it was shot on location, too.
Right.
Like, you could tell they were shooting in San Francisco.
And of course the lighting is different. The night shots are basically where they do it during the day, and then they, like shade it or something like they do for old westerns and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, I mean,
you can tell typical. The techniques from the time.
Yeah, I mean there are certain things here and there. You're like, okay, that's
the
typical,
1950s, man.
Yeah.
But
the clarity in some of the shots is
it's brilliant. It's a brilliant movie. So before we get into so Alfred Hitchcock.
Yes,
right?
Alfred Hitchcock. Yep.
Starring Jimmy Stewart.
Jimmy Stewart
as Scotty.
that I didn't get because he was Johnny. He's Scotty to his acquaintances.
Yeah.
And Johnny to his good friends.
His name is John Ferguson.
Where does the Scotty come from?
I guess Ferguson is maybe a Scottish last name. So
okay, that makes sense. Okay, you're right.
Which
we usually save questions for the end. But anyways, I just wanted to get that out. I had to get that off my chest.
That's not a deep question.
No, not at all.
And Kim, the lovely Kim Novak as Madeline and Judy, and there's a few other actors here. What's his name? Tom Hellamore as Alistair.
Yep.
Who we know is Scotty's friend. I don't know. This movie just does a lot of weird stuff. I mean, is there anything that stood out to you in particular about this thing, just the style-wise? For me, it was the use of color.
Yeah, use of color. I mean, it's absolutely. Again, I couldn't believe this was 1958. For some reason, when I turned it on, I was expecting black and white. I don't know why. I just had it in my head that this was a black and white film.
It's
but then
so
when
old.
the copy I watched, when I turned it on, I was like, oh, okay. Like, because you see the pictures of it and you just think they just colored those pictures and
right
and whatever. Because some pictures are black and white. But yeah, there's just the actual look of it. But also,
well, you said though San Francisco, the way that the city kind of.
I mean, yeah, the
shot
city,
on location.
yeah, absolutely. I mean, some of the shots of the Golden Gate Bridge with the actors like right in front of it, it's just like, wow.
There's no mistaking.
Yeah, absolutely. Because usually, movies back then, you could just totally tell it's just a fake background. It's like, there's the Golden Gate Bridge. There's
some of that here. But...
yeah, I mean, but so minimal. But yeah, I mean, and one thing that stood out to me is just, I mean, obviously Alfred Hitchcock's storytelling is amazing, but just the realism in this movie, the realism and the drama and the way the characters talk to each other, because usually 50s movies they're just like, you see, like this over dramatized, just
it feels natural,
proper behavior. Yeah, this is so natural, especially at the end, which we'll get to.
How good is Jimmy Stewart?
Very good.
He's. I don't know if underrated is the right word. But he seems, I don't know.
Underappreciated, maybe.
He's one of the great American actors.
Absolutely.
Obviously, there's no controversy saying that. But
I think the main thing is it's just easy to make fun of it. Not make fun of, but just like kind of imitate his voice.
I don't know. Yeah.
It's a cinch.
Yeah.
It's a cinch, you see?
But only he can do what he does.
Right? Yeah. I mean, yeah, absolutely.
It's almost like you want to be him in a way.
Well, and even his character development in this film, you just see the acting range this guy has. It's absolutely amazing. Yeah, absolutely.
I'm a huge. I've never seen. I mean, I haven't seen every Jimmy Stewart movie, obviously, because he's been probably in a million. But everything I see him in, and all that, especially in Hitchcock, and obviously, and It's a Wonderful Life, and just a bunch of other stuff. He is so good. He's one of my favorite actors.
I think in a past show you kind of compared him to like how Tom Hanks is now. Like he can basically just fit in any role.
He was the original everyman.
Yeah, absolutely. So I could definitely see that. I'm trying to think. I mean, because he was in It's a Wonderful Life.
Yeah.
Okay. So,
yeah.
So I mean, I've obviously seen him in that. He was in Rear Window.
Right, Rear Window. Watch it. He's been in a ton of Hitchcock stuff.
I have to say, I mean, this seems like his best performance.
Yeah,
I would say.
The range he shows, like you said.
Absolutely. I mean, just because the way his character goes, he starts from one place, gets to, this movie's all over the place, but in a good way.
I would like to just say this. I want to do a Hitchcock series. So
I mean, this movie
this
has
is possible.
Me, this movie has me itching to want to go watch Rear Window again. It has me itching to want to go watch Psycho and North by Northwest and all that.
Yeah.
I'm dropping bottle caps here.
That's fine. We do drop bottle caps. So the one thing that stood out to me was, like I said, the use of color. And it's this pale green in the red throughout the entire movie.
Yes. Yep.
And I actually, at some point, I noticed it. And I just started jotting down where I saw the colors.
Uh-huh.
Right? She's got a green car.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right.
And he's wearing, at some point, Jimmy Stewart's wearing a green sweater, same color, after he rescues her. Then she puts on something like that, and then she wears a red robe. Okay? And then he lives in a building that's green, but it has red bricks. It's a contrast.
Yeah.
Okay? His house has a red door. A deep red door.
Oh, wow.
They go off. He's wearing a red tie.
Wow. Yeah, I didn't okay.
And so I think green represents Madeline, who's the Kim Novak character, and red sort of represents him.
Did you mention the restaurant in that?
Oh yeah. So with this place they go, Ernie's. It's this velvet wall. This deep red velvet red wall.
You were just talking about representation. What were you saying about him representing?
Well, I think he's red and she's green.
Okay. Oh the contrast.
Yeah. And it's a really weird thing. I noticed this that they were doing with his ties, because it's the 50s. They were all wearing suits, right? So at one point he's wearing it's a red tie with green sort of diamonds in it. When Madeline dies, we're spoiling this movie.
Oh yeah, if you haven't seen this movie, don't
please
pause this, go watch it.
Pause it, go watch it, and listen. Yeah. When Madeline dies, he's wearing a all red tie, no green in it.
Okay.
When they meet again with the Judy character, he's wearing a red tie with green in it.
Okay. Yeah. I
Again.
mean, yeah. I didn't notice any of that just because.
So I was getting the symbolism
Wow.
of if she's green and he's red, the way the ties he's wearing, it's a symbolism. It represents she's a part of him when there's green in his red tie.
Okay.
When she's gone, he just has a completely plain red tie.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, the only other thing I've seen representation of colors like that is Breaking Bad, which I know they specifically did. Did you watch Breaking Bad?
Yeah.
You, like Vince Gilligan, like he was
I've
big
seen them
into
all.
that. Like when Walter White was feeling greedy,
Oh,
like he
yeah.
was green.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know, when he was like kind of like feeling emasculate, he was more like pale, like beige colors, things like that. Like,
Yeah, that's
I
true.
love when they do
Yeah.
that kind of subtle symbolism.
This one, he lays it on thick, but you can tell the influence, right? Yeah, with the Vince Gilligan. I mean, he's clearly drawing from this sort of thing.
Yeah. Did you notice the Hitchcock cameo?
No, I actually missed this. I
Really?
Missed it. Yeah, I totally missed it.
It's right before he's first talking to Gavin, is his name, the guy who's Madeline's husband or whatever.
Elster.
Yeah, it's right.
Gavin
Like they
Elster?
they show the outside of it, and you
Right.
just see
He's
Hitchcock
pulling in.
walking. You just see Hitchcock just walking as one of the pedestrians. So
Oh,
I know
missed that.
I noticed that. I just have an eye for film, I
Yeah,
guess. You
his,
know,
like silhouette. Yeah, but I definitely missed it. I think I missed it every time. That's a great
Really?
call. But I've got more red green.
Oh,
No, it's just funny though, because I really just started jotting all this down. They went to that redwood forest,
oh yeah.
and then so the way that
Red.
it's a red wood. I mean,
what more? How more obvious could it get?
hey, what am I going to say about it? It's a red wood, right? No, but the way I don't know, the filter on the lens or what, you can see the green leaves, but there's also like a red mulch laid out, and it's a red wood, and you can see all the green on the leaves.
Okay.
So that's one. So it's the two coming together,
Yeah.
right? There's another thing where they're at the Empire Hotel towards the end with that green.
Yeah,
neon
I really
sign.
noticed that green there.
So yeah, I mean, those were like
Wasn't
the
there?
big ones.
And then when he's like hallucinating or just having dreams, and his face is like zooming.
Yeah, he's having nightmares when
Yeah.
you see
Yeah.
green and red interchange, and then I think there's like a purple in there too.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, I guess that totally just slipped. I mean, there was things I noticed. Like I was like, noticed there were strong colors. Like I said, the red in the restaurant, the green with the Empire Hotel.
Yeah, it's like a Christmas thing almost, but yeah, they just sit
Yeah.
on top of each other. And I think in Jimmy Stewart's apartment, he has in his windows he has that same pale color of green curtains, and then on one end by his front door they're red as well.
Yeah.
So there's these two colors. So one I think each character represents a color,
Yeah.
and the way they come together is
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I noticed the stronger notes, but yeah, obviously there's much more subtle things in there that they were pointing out as well. So yeah, that's awesome. But yeah, James Stewart, Kim Novak. So yeah, let's just get into it.
dive
Let's
right
get
in.
into our pick six. We pick 6 of our favorite moments of a film, and
Pick six.
that's the moments we bring out about the film. We used to, take 2 hours to, go one by one, scene by scene in a movie. But
trying
now,
to help out the listener
yeah,
here.
just
you know?
condense a little and
A
just
little
pick
bit.
6 moments. Basically, me and Dave do 3 and 3, pick 6 moments, and just give them. Usually, we do it in order of the film. So,
rough chronological.
exactly.
So let's start out with the first one. I think this opening is great, right?
Yes.
So the first thing you see, I think, is a ladder,
Uh-huh.
and then a hand going
Oh
up.
yeah, that right away captivated me. I was
And
just
the
I
music
love that choice.
too, right? It's like
of shot, yeah. Right,
it's like
yep.
that, like sound,
Yep.
going on. It's like it's tension,
Yep.
right? Which, if there's anything I love in film or TV or anything, is tension.
Mm-hmm.
That is my favorite. And this thing starts off right off the bat. It's some kind of a criminal running on the rooftops of San Francisco. You see, like you said, the scenery. You see the Golden Gate Bridge.
Yep.
I mean, like, if this thing isn't telling you you're in San Francisco.
Yeah.
And there's 2 cops. One is just a regular beat cop, and the other one's Jimmy Stewart. This guy's jumping from building to building. He goes up over these Spanish-style tiles, climbs over. The cop makes it up. Jimmy Stewart jumps, doesn't quite make it, slips. He's hanging on the gutter.
Hanging on the gutter.
And then we see that effect on the camera.
Yeah, they
where
like zoom in and zoom out at the same time.
It's like the Jaws effect,
Yep.
right? On Roy Schneider, same idea, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Where you're pulling or you're bringing, you're pulling the camera out and focusing, or is it the opposite?
No, I think it's basically the physical camera's moving backwards,
right,
while they're zooming in on it.
Mm-hmm.
So like it seems like it's at the same time it's zooming in.
It's all
and moving out.
Yeah. If anyone can relate to a fear of heights, I think this is the second time I've said this.
Yeah.
But I'm afraid of heights.
Yeah.
And that's the same fear I get.
Yep.
And my God, so he's hanging there. The cop. This is so intense.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? The cop's trying to help him, and then he ends up in his attempt to save Jimmy Stewart, falls off, tumbles down, and just goes splat.
I mean, talk about, like I said,
what a way to open.
Yeah, like I said at when we were just speaking generally about the film, you think you're going into one movie and then it turns into another. You're like, oh, holy crap! That's the moment where I was like.
Serious.
I was watching it alone at that point, and I was just like looking at like, did that just happen?
Yeah,
like,
you don't expect it at all,
especially a 1958 film. Like the darkness of it, is just
to imagine audiences
incredible.
Back then.
Yeah, can you imagine?
This must have blown people's minds.
Absolutely. So yeah, I mean that alone, and just the way again that camera effect, along with the original, the scene of him just showing the ladder hand, and you see Jimmy Stewart grab the hand.
That's the opening.
That's the opening
image. Yeah.
That's the opening scene. That's the opening scene. Is that you see a guy falling to his death, just splat. What an impact.
Great stuff.
Just so impactful. So yeah, I mean that's definitely. I mean that sets. You get to know that this guy has some sort of fear of heights, which I guess.
And he nearly died. Legitimately.
Yeah.
I mean, he slipped and he was hanging on.
It's not a deep question, but afterwards, he's talking to his friend. Why does he have a cane? Why does he have a cane after that little?
I think it's all.
Sorry, I know that I'm not trying to critique your movie. I'm just saying,
No, go ahead.
Why does he have a cane?
Yeah, because he goes into. I think her name is Midge, his old friend / they were engaged for a week or whatever they said.
Oh, we were engaged
for a week. Yeah, they were college friends.
You're the one that broke it off.
Yeah, she likes him, and he's moved on. Obviously, he sees her as just totally platonic. I think it's just all in his head. He's limping for no reason. Yeah. He doesn't have an injury. Yeah. It's all psychosomatic, whatever you want to call it. It's all in his head. It's not
just like that makes more sense, yeah.
I think it's clear there that that's what it is.
Yeah, I mean, obviously something's up in
but
his
he didn't
head.
injure his back, hanging on. Yeah. He's just afraid. It's all psychological.
Oh, yeah, I guess it could also be the vertigo. Like, if you have vertigo, like I know some people at work, actually, that may have it anyways. But yeah, they're like they can barely move, so like I guess the cane is just there to like in case they get that like spasm, like that episode.
To start with, he was probably in a really bad spot.
Yeah,
and now he's slowly getting better, which we see in that scene where he's going to go up the stepladder, which he makes it. It's not even. It's more like a stool. Right. Yeah. But I kind of feel the same way. For me to be up off the ground and to look up, I feel the same thing. I don't. It's not debilitating. I
have a huge fear of heights as well. Like I get dizzy. We went up to St. Augustine one year and climbed up a what do you call those? Watchtower? Not a watchtower. Lighthouse. Climbed up the lighthouse. Went up the stairs and just like we were up. Like just seeing outside and just I was just like, oh my God, like this, like you.
I'm that way. I mean,
you know you're safe, but at the same time, you're just like, it's just such a weird feeling.
That's where for me, I don't even feel safe. I really don't. I can't even say that I feel it, or I'm saying I can't even rationalize at that point. Yeah, because I just don't feel comfortable. I get tingling. I get weird sensation. And
Did you get like weird feelings in the bottom of your feet?
I get sweaty feet.
Yeah, it's so weird. Yeah.
Just to like change like a high light bulb, I get the same thing. Same deal. I don't like going up on roofs. Yeah. I don't know what the cure is. They say exposure, but that's not happening. So.
Well, that's something I want to talk about. At the end of the film. But yeah,
that's number one.
So yeah, that is number one.
Yeah. So then moving on here, the next one is
number 2 in our pick 6.
Number 2. it's basically asking the question: is this a fantasy film or / what the hell is going on?
Exactly. Again, this is another point where it's like it takes a turn. Where it's like, wait, oh, I thought it was this kind of film. Oh wait, what's going on?
Yeah, so Jimmy Stewart goes through this whole thing that we talked about in the opening scene, where he's a detective and he's no longer that anymore. He says he's got some kind of money, but a friend of his walks him into the shipyard in San Francisco, where prior to that we see the cameo of Hitchcock that I missed every time I've seen this.
Gotta watch it, bro.
And he describes a story. He's like, I want you to be like a private eye and watch my wife. And why is this? That she's somehow, he's like, do you believe in spirit possession?
Yeah.
My wife is going and doing strange things. She's like disappearing for long periods of time.
Right.
She's going to places that don't make sense. It could be connected to some dead woman, Carlotta, something. And, Jimmy Stewart agrees to do it. And he takes on this. It's the detective story. It's the Kim Novak character, who he follows her to a museum, to a graveyard, all around to this hotel where she is staying and then disappears. But there's this amazing scene when he's not sure. He doesn't want to take on the job. He's like, I don't do this in his Jimmy Stewart way. And he's like, just come to Ernie's, which is the local joint where they all hang out, bar, lounge, whatever. And there's no dialogue in the scene. It's in this deep red velvet room. There's just some kind of music, and the way it's shot is beautiful. Jimmy Stewart's at the bar, and Kim Novak is at a table with her husband, and she is enchanting. Neither one of them look at each other. Jimmy Stewart's kind of looking over his shoulder, and at this moment, he is struck by this woman.
Yep.
And it's a feeling that he cannot shake for the rest of his time.
Yeah. Not at all. Yeah, you feel that infatuation he has at that moment, and just the way Hitchcock conveyed this, the way he brought this about was just you felt it. Like you were just like, I get what this guy's feeling right now. Like it's whatever, however she looks like or whatever. Like I get what he's trying to say at this moment. Like I feel what Jimmy Stewart is feeling right now. Like,
it's incredible.
I love those moments in film.
Oh, you are locked in, and so is he clearly. But yeah, the fact that it's done so well that you get it.
Yeah, absolutely. You're like, okay, I get this.
So it becomes, like you said, is this a fantasy film? It's about the supernatural? Is she possessed by this dead woman who she's visiting? The portrait of her. She's got her hair done in the same way. She's bringing flowers. She's visiting the grave. She claims to have disappeared. She disappears into the San Francisco Bay under the Golden Gate Bridge. Jimmy Stewart rescues her. And this is almost an hour of complete misdirection by Alfred Hitchcock. This is not the story at all.
Not at all. It's an unbelievable misdirection. Again, this is a 1958 film that I cannot predict. I cannot predict this movie at all. There's movies that come out today where I just okay, this is gonna happen. This is how they're gonna resolve it, and then I watch it. Yep, that's what I called. This, I had no idea where it was going. I was like, okay, so her great grandmother is entering her body and becoming her, right?
Because she's doing such a good job of pretending that to have these blackout periods,
right? Yeah,
and all this stuff.
Because even when Gavin, is that his name? His character's name? I forget.
I just say Elstair, but I don't know.
Elstair. Even when he's describing it, he's like, at some point she's not herself, and then in today's world, you're just like, okay, she's just not herself.
It was beyond that though. He said to
when I initially watched it, I was like, he's not herself, and then I actually watched the beginning again today, and then I realized he was saying literally she's not herself. She's she's becoming this other woman. Well, there's from the past.
thing about I followed her to this place, and then I checked the speedometer, and it said she drove 94 miles or something like that during the day. She couldn't account for it.
Yeah,
she goes to that hotel room. And that's the question I have. I don't know. He just basically he ends up sort of stalking this woman.
Yeah.
And then rescuing her, bringing her into his own house. It's just really unique. I mean, it's not what you expect. Yeah, he becomes invested in her personally, and then she throws herself into the ocean or to the bay, where he's forced to save her.
Right, yeah, because she's just like floating there, you know, almost seemingly unconscious.
And then he like doesn't want to let her go, but she has another life. She has a husband.
Yeah.
It's so...
Yeah.
The emotions here.
Yeah, I mean it's so interesting because I mean this guy, you know, he's obviously he's got a woman in Midge that he probably could end up with, you know.
He could, but he's a single. He's a single man in his 40s, 50s.
Yeah, I mean, something like that. Which I have questions about Midge, maybe a little later on, but you know, he could probably have any woman he wants, but you know, he's not happy with something that, you know, finally this woman is the one that infatuates him.
He's hooked.
It's someone that he's assigned to go and, you know, spy on, I guess you could say, or what are they called? Private investigators, PIs.
Yeah, being a PI.
You know, it's kind of a PI work, you know, what he's involved with. But this is the woman he's infatuated with.
Yeah, and it becomes something far deeper than anyone had planned, which is these two characters basically fall in love with each other.
Yeah, which is so interesting because, again, what we think is happening at this moment is not what's happening at all.
No, what you think is he's trying to aid this woman in her insanity.
Yeah, and so eventually they get to the redwoods, right?
Yeah,
and
because
when is the kiss? When they first kiss?
Yeah, I think it's after the redwood park, and then he's driving her out, and she wants to like run away out of the car, and they're on this beach with this crashing waves. And I remember he's trying to help her. He's like giving his all. I remember he said something like, "I want to find the key." It's like, if I can get to the beginning and unlock it, then I could like, you know, reason my way through why you feel this way. Why do you feel like? Because he doesn't believe that it's true that she's feeling a spirit of a dead woman, right? He's like, in his own way, saying you're mentally ill, but I'm here for you. I want to help you. I want to solve, or maybe it is true. Maybe he thinks it's possible that she is actually somewhat being taken over by this spirit. And I think she's so moved by his like commitment to wanting to help her.
Yeah.
And she can't resist it, and he is so invested in this woman,
and
he's so struck by her that he's willing to do anything to save her out of this plight, which we know is all BS.
Well, but the thing is, we don't know at that point.
Yeah, later on.
Yeah, but we're still invested in it, even though it seems like it's like, okay, so this woman's taking, you know, her body. Like, I still accepted it. Like, I was like, okay, I accept this. Like, this I kind of believed it too.
Yeah, in a way.
I was like, this makes sense to me.
Yeah.
So you said you kind of believed it. So you kind of were thinking that maybe this wasn't.
Well, it's weird. Case? It's weird on multiple watches. Now that when you know the reveal, then
when you know the reveal,
but the first time, I think there's, you know, Hitchcock does such a good job of laying out his case. You believe it, maybe, or there's got to be some reasoning here.
Yeah.
Other than what we learn is this horrible, elaborate plot.
Yes.
Which is, like, mind-blowing in itself. Yeah.
I was confused.
Yeah, but before that, I mean, the fact that Scotty is so willing to just do whatever he can to save Madeline and to just help her, she can't resist it.
Right.
So that moment on the beach with the crashing waves and the score... They kiss, and it's beautiful.
Yeah,
it's an
it really is. Yeah,
scene.
yeah. I mean, it's definitely, you know, it's from 1958, so it's definitely one of those scenes where it's like, okay, this is where other movies get some of this from. Like, this is a dramatic moment in film that it's like, okay,
right, and
this is famous.
Maybe they overused the score a few times here, and it was a bit overwrought, saying the
and also I wish that was the only dramatic kiss in the movie.
There's a lot of these, so I don't know if audiences were whatever, and maybe they've drawn them back, but you know, this is like the teacher, like, you know, schooling, and like you said, this is 1958,
and
you don't know, you cannot predict this movie.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, and you know it's been copied.
Right.
Because any director worth his salt is like, I love Vertigo.
Yeah.
And I'm going to borrow something from it.
Yeah, because, I mean, even at that moment, you're like, okay, so he's in love with this woman, but, like, is he in love with the woman that, you know, is taking over her body, or is he in love with that woman? Like, it's like, I don't know what's going to happen here. Like, what is this? You know, so that's the unpredictability there. But
and that goes on and on and on. And Madeline keeps saying, you know, she's playing this role as if it's true.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So I mean, we might as well get into the other stuff. So I mean, that kiss by the ocean. I mean, it
leads to
almost an honorable mention into our into our pick 6. But yeah, the next one, number three, is basically the downfall of this all is when Madeline kills herself. Madeline, quote unquote, kills herself. Madeline. Because they're starting to fall in love. They're starting to get, Jimmy Stewart's trying to help her put the puzzle pieces together. She has a vision of this place, this Spanish place. It's like a nightmare or whatever. It's like, I've been here. This is because she's going on that Valdez lady, and Jimmy Stewart's like, no. Actually, I know this place. It's 100 miles south. Oh yeah, because she thinks it's like in Spain or something. Yeah, something like that. So he brings her there. Yep,
trying to help solve it. They go into the stables. They have this beautiful another dramatic kiss.
But
it's still nice. I mean,
I mean, it wasn't. Yeah.
At some point when you're watching this movie, you just have to like take your like preconceived notions and your like modern sense and throw it away.
That's a good point. Modern sense. Like, because when you watch this movie in 2017, you
have to judge it.
You could be a little cynical, like, oh, this is corny.
But even doing so will not hold long,
right?
Because this movie will bust through it.
Yeah, absolutely.
But they're in this mission, and go ahead.
Oh, I mean, they're on this mission. Basically, he's trying to help her, like, realize that, hey, this is basically trying to help the actual Madeline realize that this is real, right? Yeah. This is what's happening. You're not this other person. Like, this other person is bringing you to these places, but this is you.
Yeah, they're in like a carriage. Now. She's talking about some kind of a gray horse, and he's like, "Oh, right over here. It's like a statue or something."
Yeah, it was a statue of a horse. At first, I was like, "Are they really trying to pass this off as a real horse?" And then I was like, "Okay."
It's such little faith.
That's better. But yeah, basically, she needs to go up to the tower. She needs to go to the top of the tower. And as we know, Jimmy Stewart has vertigo. He's afraid of heights.
There's a conflict there, though. He's like, "Stay with me," and she's like, "I want to, but it's too late. I gotta go. You gotta leave me." And we find out there's a reason for her conflict and their conflict, but she's basically like, you need to stay here and I need to go into church alone.
Yeah, I need to like confront this myself.
Yeah.
Which I guess it doesn't really matter because it's all a ruse.
Well, no, it does matter because she was legitimately falling in love with him.
Yeah. That was one of the questions I had.
She's going up potentially to stop what's happening.
Oh yeah, because that's why she screams.
And she's late.
Yeah. Okay. Interesting. Okay. Yeah, I need to watch this again.
The whole thing falls apart for her role.
So she like holds him back. She's like, he wants to go up there with her, and she's like, no, you stay back. And then he goes up. So as she's going up, he realizes like, maybe I should be following her.
Yeah.
Is that right? Am I remembering that right? Yeah.
It doesn't make sense. Why is he's like, stay with me, but she wants. The relationship is centered on her leaving, right? Because she's married. And he doesn't want her to leave in general.
Right, yeah.
In a way. And then this is like an exclamation point or exaggeration or whatever you want to call it of that. This little bit of thing. She's like, I need to go. And he's like, don't go. Stay. This is a significant portion, in a weird way. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I think that's just obviously she needs to go up to the tower.
Right. Yeah. So I mean, she goes up to the tower. In the middle of her going up there, he realizes, I should probably go and see what's going on up there.
She starts acting weird.
Yeah, she's acting weird.
Yeah.
I forget what exactly happens that it makes him finally go up and go. So he's climbing up the stairs.
And he's
he kind of sees her like in a distance, like going up as well. But he's trying to go up the stairs. He keeps looking down and gets that vertigo effect again. We get that, effect with the camera again.
Right.
He goes up, it goes up, goes up. And then all of a sudden we hear a scream.
Yeah.
And then
he can't get quite far enough. He can never quite catch her.
Yeah. Second time we see a body fall to the ground in this. This is another moment where I was just like, what just happened? Like, he was falling in love with this woman, like,
and she jumped out of
like
the bell tower.
Honestly, like, I don't know if I was if I were in 1958 when this movie first came out. I don't know if I would be.
Your jaw would have been on the floor.
Well, that's the thing. Like, I don't know if, like, me watching it now, like, me just being surprised that it's a 1958 movie and they're doing this, or if it's just surprising.
They would have had to hire the ushers to shovel people's jaws
seriously
off the floor. I mean,
that's a funny visual right there.
I mean, that's
gotta get some jaws again.
Hey, let's call in Sam here. I'm gonna shovel. No,
yeah,
but
it's just an incredibly powerful moment because, like, you feel this guy falling in love with this woman and she falls to her death.
This is 1,000% WTF moment.
Yeah,
I mean, it cannot be emphasized.
Like
anymore.
A 1958 movie, it's happily ever after.
I would bet that people were mad at this movie.
Oh, I bet
of how crazy it was.
Yeah, like, and that's not even the end. Like, she dies.
Is like halfway through.
It's halfway through. All right, so our number 4 on our pick 6. We should call it take 6. I almost said take 6, but our number 4. We were talking, and basically the 4 through 6 kind of mold together, but we're going to try to separate them for you folks. Our number 4 is Things Aren't What They Seem. That's the title of our number 4.
Right, so we have the shock of Madeline's death.
Right, so Madeline has died. And then there's, because as soon as she died and Jimmy Stewart's looking down, I was like, wait, aren't they going to think he, like, pushed her out?
Right,
but then, like, yeah, then, like, right after they have, like, a trial for it and everything, which was a weird jury trial thing. I don't know if that's how they did it back then or what.
It's strange. It's almost like a small town, and the judge, the way he talked.
Yeah, it was super weird. But yeah, they determined that Jimmy Stewart, they know about his vertigo. So I mean, that has a lot to play in this movie. Is his fear of heights and his vertigo syndrome. But
I do want to say
they determined that she did kill herself and he did not kill her. But go ahead.
No, I just. The trial was, you don't even know that it's a trial, but it is a trial.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's
interesting, yeah, in a lot of ways, right? You think of a courtroom as this official, scary place where you can go to jail. I mean, obviously you could here too, but it's very informal.
Right. Yeah.
It's in like maybe a church or maybe in that same place where.
That's what I was thinking. I was thinking it was like in that same tower.
They basically held the trial like right there. Yeah. And it's only just a handful of people.
Right.
And I don't know, I kind of liked it. I mean, it was almost like there was no grandstanding by attorneys, which you get in every movie now. Yeah. It's just a judge, an intelligent, smart judge, not being nice to Jimmy Stewart, but just laying the facts out to the jury.
Laying the facts, exactly. Yep.
I don't know, I kind of liked it. And it almost... You say it was weird, and it is weird because it was almost refreshing in a way.
Yeah,
because it told the truth.
I mean, because you could say like, oh, it was like that in that time, but like 12 Angry Men came out, I think, in 1956, 57, and that so obviously they had that type of jury system back then.
Yeah,
so.
Well, I gotta say, if justice was ever meted out in the same way it was done in this movie, then we'd have a great system.
Yeah.
And now it's everything is too big. Everything is corrupted by, everyone's personality and how they feel that day or something like that. I don't know. I thought that was just the way it was done.
Right.
It maybe just a random throwback, but to look back on it, it's like, well, this is how you decide someone's fate.
Yeah.
And there's a judge that wasn't just saying like just ruling randomly. He was like walking through what happened. He's like, well, Scotty did this, but he also did that, and given the circumstances,
just given the exact facts, whether it's like on the
I don't want to gloss over it. It's
Yeah, no, I totally agree, man. Because it's like
It's
it
so weird
gives
to
the
watch.
facts. It gives the facts on like if you're going to be a guilty verdict or an innocent verdict. Like it gives both sides. Like,
I've never seen that before.
Yeah, it was very interestingly done. Like it was very unique in that way. Whether it was unique or not in 1958, I don't know. But today, that was a very unique.
Maybe that's how small towns did it.
Yeah.
You like literally discussed it objectively, as possible.
Because the jury didn't even go into a room after that. They just kind of whispered to each other like.
Yeah, I mean, I guess the trial was whether he was responsible for her death. Which
That's what I assume,
he wasn't.
Right.
Clearly, he wasn't.
Right.
But,
yeah, we know.
But they also like shamed him in a way where you let this woman.
And I like
your job to take care of
right,
her.
Yeah, you let this woman die, but they even bring up how like you let this the officer die at the beginning. Like to bring that up? Like wow.
Yeah, and it's like it's on your conscience.
Right.
Which obviously it was.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which we see because he ends up in a mental institution.
Again, I'm going to save that question for the end. He ends up in a mental institution, which is interesting again for the time because I mean the Midge goes to see him. He's not saying a word. Obviously he's upset because this woman he fell in love with just fell to her death. So he thinks
he's
fell to
broken.
her death. Yeah, and I like how the doctor back then they call it. Oh, he has a case of the melancholy. And that's actually what they used to call depression. Was
right.
just he just got a case of the melancholy.
I mean, he wasn't even speaking.
Yeah, not even speaking. Like that's a clinical thing right there. And just first of all, I know this is where we're not trying to lead this movie to. It just goes to show how advanced we've become in dealing with actual mental issues in this day and age. We've gotten a lot better, at least, and not just calling it melancholy and just he'll get better and thinking that Mozart is going to fix it. And I like that little line, maybe a little insignificant. Playing in Mozart is, if I forget, I wish I knew the exact line, but playing in Mozart isn't going to help anything.
Plays records.
It's almost like
him out.
It's almost like you actually have to do something for this person rather
right.
than just play music. If this music doesn't work, we'll see what happens. Like I think that's powerful in a way.
Yeah, I agree. There's no easy fix here. He's obviously in some sort of a state. And it's okay to admit that we don't know why.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it seems like they were afraid to admit things back then. Like, well, we don't know why. It's like, he's just got a case of the melancholy. We're just going to play some Mozart for him, and hopefully he'll be better.
He's going to sit in this room for as long as it takes.
Yeah.
But it doesn't take that long.
Nah.
Because we see him back at the hotel looking at the green car.
Yep, the green car.
And he goes up to a woman that...
Well, we keep getting glimpses of like him like thinking he sees her, which I think when they show her, it is the actual Kim Novak actress. Yeah. But then they flash it; it's a different actress.
It's like blonde hair that's tied up in a bun.
Yeah. But yeah, like you said, he goes up to the car. He's basically just searching for something. He's searching for something, and he keeps getting visions of her.
He's seeing Madeline everywhere.
You're seeing Madeline everywhere. And then what happens?
He sees Madeline.
He literally sees her.
No, so because he's going through. It's like he's crazy, right? And then he actually sees it's Kim Novak, but in red hair, and possibly a green dress.
Yeah. Hey. Oh yeah, it wasn't black and white. So yeah, I think green dress or something. Yeah.
And it's her. And he stops her on the street, and then somehow gets get her to invite him up to her place. She's staying at a hotel, the Empire or Imperial or something like that. Empire. And it's weird because you're like, is that her?
Right.
Is that Kim Novak? Because she doesn't look
right.
Like...
Yeah, as an audience, you don't even know. Yeah.
And then they go up and they're talking, and you're like, okay, I think that's her. But is it her playing another actress just to make it seem like she looks like this person?
Right.
You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
Where it's like you're seeing it through his eyes, so he sees the same person, but it's actually, in reality, it would be someone else.
Because honestly, like, I thought it was Kim Novak, but honestly, I wasn't 100% sure. I was like, okay, is this just something that...
Because she looks so different. Yeah. And she actually acts very well. She has a different voice. She speaks
great
differently.
Acting. Yeah.
She does a great job here.
I'm from Kansas. You see here?
She shows a license.
Yeah. And, like, even the way she, like, looks at him, like... you kind of see something, like maybe she recognizes him and is weirded out, but at the same time, mainly you see her just like totally just like acting like she doesn't know him, and you believe that.
Madeline is a very confident, not in charge, but just a very confident, well put together, good sense of herself woman.
Right.
And Judy is not.
No.
Judy is timid. Judy is a little bit apprehensive. She's a little scared.
Yep.
This is not the same person per se.
Right.
But it is.
But it is.
Is everything as it seems. So what is going on here?
So yeah, I mean, Jimmy Stewart explains to her, like, you look like this person, and will you have dinner with me?
She's defensive.
Yeah, very defensive. She reluctantly agrees to it. She, he leaves and she starts like packing up, but then she decides to start writing this note. This note, and guess what?
She has a flashback.
We get a little flashback,
and it's
insane. What?
Mind blowing,
exactly.
The flashback is she runs up to the top of the of the tower, and she sees Elster holding a limp woman dressed in the same clothes, and she screams, runs in the back, and then they throw that limp body,
which I thought was a dummy at
out
first.
the window.
Which probably wasn't for the movie, but I mean, I thought they were just throwing a dummy out there, so I thought like she was still his wife. But so I was like so confused, but yeah, that made more sense.
Come to find out, my God.
My God!
Just to think about this, it was this ludicrously but brilliant plot to murder his wife.
Yeah,
he hired Madeline, which is her name is not Madeline.
Yeah.
He had a real Madeline, killed her, and in this had Jimmy Stewart investigate his wife because she's acting strange. Good cover. He's got vertigo. He's not going to want to go up to the tower.
Yep.
And
plus, they even bring up how like he has her wife's company and like is in charge of their holdings and all that. So I mean, totally makes sense.
And Jimmy Stewart makes a perfect witness because he apparently knows the wife,
right?
But it's not even her.
Yeah,
he never met the wife.
Right?
Who
he met what he thought was
the
wife. Right? It's insane.
It's insane on so many levels.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, because when you really dig it down, it's like 1958. It's like I'm sure there's so many other ways to kill someone and get away with it in 1958.
Right.
But like to totally surprise the audience like this, like again, 2017. I'm shocked by this. Again, this is another turn in the movie where I'm just like, what?
I mean. Say what you want about 1958, but I don't know that I've seen a movie that has done this to me since.
Yeah. I mean, seriously. Like, so many turns.
I mean,
so many times in this movie, I'm just like, wait, what? Like, it's from the very beginning when the cop falls from the roof. Like, I'm just like, what?
Well, and then you look back thinking, well, this whole supernatural thing, that was the...
Yeah.
This is like Hitchcock just, leading you down a path that has no purpose other than to turn on you.
Right.
This whole thing with the supernatural, she's possessed, she's just acting.
Right.
The whole time.
Yeah. just
to lead up to this moment.
Yeah. I mean, this movie just took me by surprise big time. So yeah, I mean that obviously all happened. So basically he doesn't know this. That was just a flashback she had by showing the audience when she wrote the note. So now he's just trying to recreate things. He's taken her to stores to try on different dresses.
Well, yeah, because we know that she, and this was a question I have, does she actually love him? And the answer is yes.
Do you? Why?
Well, she says it.
I know. Okay.
I think
other than her saying it.
Well, no, I believe it because I think when she was the first time when going up the tower, she wanted to stop the whole thing from happening. She wanted to put an end to it because she actually ended up falling for him, and I think she says it a number of times.
Yeah.
And she stays there. I mean, she's gonna leave, but she doesn't really want to leave.
Yeah.
She wants to be with him, and then she goes because the Jimmy Stewart character. He likes Judy insofar as she looks like Madeline. And it's the same woman.
Yeah.
So, it's literally the same woman.
No, yeah, it literally is. Yeah,
see
it's just she went back to this Judy, who I guess was probably her real self.
She's not good enough for him.
Yeah. So basically, she was an actress who was playing the part of what's his face's wife. Yeah.
Alistair's, yeah.
Yeah, Alistair's wife. Which
he's
was
in love with a woman and obsessed with a woman that literally does not exist.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And she's willing to, well, I think she's in love with him is the fact that she's willing to play along for as long as she possibly can.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, because you got to think any sane person would just be like, okay, I'm done with this.
Think about this. And this is the part of the movie that I just cannot shake. You know, I think we've all been, this movie tells a certain truth. I think we've all been semi-obsessed with girls, guys, whatever. And it's not what you're obsessed with is an idea of that person.
Yeah, absolutely.
You have an impression of that person.
Yeah.
And in this movie, it takes it to its conclusion, which is that it's an idea that can never be realized.
Yeah.
I mean, it's literally that actual person, but it's not enough for Jimmy Stewart.
No.
He's obsessed with this, like that first scene we see in Ernie's, where she walks by him. That's his idea.
Yeah, I mean, it goes back to the when Harry met Sally line. Are you in love with her? Or are you in love with the idea of her?
It's absolutely true.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
And she tries to meet it, which she does to some varying degrees of success, which is our next one. But, you know, that is crazy.
Yeah. I mean, so would you say this is a movie about obsession?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, his feelings are real, but it goes nuts.
Yeah.
Because not even, I mean, think about what this is saying. The woman who you know, this idea that you have of this woman, not even that very woman can satisfy that idea. And that's nuts.
Yeah.
But it's also kind of true. Because when you're in that stage, when you're infatuated with someone, it's not the real person. Because you don't have them, right?
Right.
It's like the feeling of wanting to possess them.
Yeah.
That drives you, not the actual possession.
It's almost like, you know, you think of that person and you're like, I really hope they do this. I mean, even if you have that person, you're like, I really hope they do this for me. You know, I hope they do it in this exact way. And it doesn't pan out that way. You know, it's just like, whose fault is it then? You know, you know.
He tries to recreate her whole look. He makes her dye her hair.
Dye her hair, which leads to our number 5. Yeah, dyes her whole hair, creates her a whole new look.
Yeah, is number 5 is Madeline Beck.
Yeah,
which is this whole thing, the gray suit, which we see from the beginning, and she's tortured, and I feel really bad for her.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because
absolutely,
there's nothing she can do to make him happy, and
right?
And that's why I think she loves him, because she wants to please him. And the Jimmy Stewart character, he just goes off.
Yeah,
I mean, he gets nuttier and nuttier. He's never satisfied. But
it's kind of creepy.
It is creepy.
Like when he's there, like,
you feel bad for him, but then you're like, dude, you gotta.
Yeah, you feel bad for him, but you also feel bad for her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's trying.
Yeah.
She's like, please don't make me...
Because she knows. Like, she knows the whole truth. Like, she knows, like, okay, I know he's doing this because, you know, he fell in love with the me that was playing the part. Yeah, it has the guilt, exactly. But obviously she had feelings for him. Otherwise, why would she keep doing this for him, you know? So I think that kind of answers my question when I was like, what other than her saying it, you know, makes you think she fell in love with him?
Can't think of another reason
to
stick around.
Stick around. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's great. So yeah, I mean, when she turns back into Madeline, like, so finally she gets that gray suit.
She goes into the bathroom.
Well, she dresses in that gray suit.
Yeah.
She comes into him. He's like, "Your hair's supposed to be pinned back or whatever," and
however
still
she
nothing.
did it in
So
the
she's
bun,
like, "Okay, I'll do it." And she goes to the bathroom, comes back. It's Madeline. It's Madeline. Hair done perfectly in that gray suit. And then they share this gorgeous moment.
Yeah, well, you have like the green from the neon sign shining into the room.
I love that green.
On
that green
her,
is
that soft green, whatever. Yep. I don't know what that color is.
Well, it almost looked like she was translucent.
Yeah, she's like a ghost almost.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's brilliant.
You're right.
No, seriously, like I was like, oh, they're doing this effect, but it's
No,
seriously, like, she came forward and was like,
Yeah.
okay, that was just the green hue on her. Like, that's
She's
just
real,
brilliant.
But, yeah, it's in his mind.
Yeah.
It's a combination
Like,
of
it
the
was-
ideal in his mind, but also the real person.
Yeah, this real person is coming back to life. Like, this is...
Yeah, it's nuts. And then they kiss, and then the camera spins around. Then they go back to the stables at the mission.
Okay.
Because it's in his mind.
Yeah, that's in his mind. You think that was the point where they were both just in love with each other?
That was just pure love and affection.
Yeah, that
and it
makes
was
sense.
those two back again to that one point. So all is well.
Yeah.
They're doing
Beautiful
great.
moment. Yeah, doing great.
I mean, somewhat.
Yeah,
Because he's
so-
still like, he gets that moment, but you can tell it's not, it satisfies him for then, but not later
Yeah,
exactly.
because he still doesn't feel like it's still not her.
You can
to
see
him.
it in his face.
Yeah.
He's not there.
Absolutely. So you know, you could see. I don't know if it's time passage is conveyed here, but anyway, she's now dressed in a different dress.
She's happy.
Yeah, she's happy. You know, they're about to go out again.
Out to Ernie's.
Yep, but out to Ernie's. Yep, that just must be the go-to place then. So out to Ernie's again, and she's
Help
getting
me
ready.
with the- yeah.
Help me with this necklace, and the necklace is from the painting, right?
Yeah, of Carlotta.
It's from Carlotta, but is it also a necklace that she wore?
She wore it possibly as Madeline. But
Okay.
It was given to her by Elster.
Is this Carlotta stuff anything, or was it all just part of the ruse?
I think it's part of the ruse, but I think that was like her parting gift from Elster.
Okay, so that's what he gave to her. Like, okay,
Right. He gave her cash, he gave her whatever,
Yeah.
and one of those things was the necklace.
Okay.
It was just a simple oversight by her.
That makes sense. But this is when Jimmy Stewart realizes
He
that...
he has the flashback because
Yep.
they used to go see her at this portrait.
Right.
And of course he's a crazy man and he remembers every detail of that of that painting.
Yeah.
And, the way the necklace is shaped, and he flips out.
Yeah.
Not immediately.
Yeah, like he keeps his cool
For a
minute.
second.
Yeah.
And then they go drive. He's like, "Wow, we're gonna take a drive. You're not hungry yet, are you?" He's like, "Oh, just a little bit." Yeah.
I love his voice.
So, and then he takes her all the way back to the mission and just starts getting rough with her.
yeah. The mission, which is the tower.
Right where she
Yep.
initially jumped off and just being like, basically calling. He figures out. I mean, what the audience has been trying to process for the last 30 minutes, happening to a character in this universe.
Yeah.
Which, could you imagine if this actually happened to you?
I know.
I mean, he's flipping out anger.
He's losing his shit.
He really is.
So yeah, and he's like dragging her up
Yeah.
the stairs, and not that I love it, but I love the filmmaking aspect of it. Just the shot of Hitchcock showing the legs dragging up the
Yeah.
stairs. He just shows a shot of the legs dragging up the stairs just
He's
to show her
so
that
mad.
he's forcefully
Yeah.
taking her up there.
Like, you need to bring her
Some-
all the way up there. He's like,
That's
"What'd you do?" And he figures it all out. He talks through what they did.
yeah. So I mean, he's basically recreating this scene. Now, what do you think? I mean, I guess this is just jump into my questions. What made him lose his fear of heights there? What made him lose his vertigo?
I think it was focused anger.
Okay.
I really do. I mean, I thought about this because I knew you were going in this way, and
Yeah.
I think that's my answer because I think I've been there before, where
Nothing else matters. It's
Yeah.
just
you have like that. It's not survival, but it's just anger. You cannot get anything else out of you. It doesn't matter what's going to happen. It's like almost like if you saw, like, I don't know, you're a father. If you saw your child being in potential danger, right? You would, or if they were up high, you'd probably forget about your fear of heights.
yeah. That's
I
true.
mean, that's not.
Yeah.
This is different, but it's that idea that you've got
I mean,
this focused emotion, right?
Yeah. I mean, honestly,
If
I
someone
think,
was going to harm them,
yeah. Yeah.
you'd go up and do whatever you had to do to save your kid, right?
Yeah, that's true.
Because you're just like, "Rrr."
Yeah, there's just something in you that's just
Yeah.
making you ignore those inner
right?
feelings you used to have about something. I mean, because obviously it's all psychological.
Right.
Like, you being afraid of heights doesn't mean that, because you're up high, it means you're going to fall.
Right.
Like, how many times have you
It's
been up
clearly-
high before,
yeah.
I mean, it's all psychological.
I think for him, this is again his world about to crash. His world had crashed upon him once when she died, and then now he realized it was an elaborate plot just to scheme me.
Yeah.
And, you say you love me, and now I need you to admit every ounce of this.
Every ounce of it.
Every bit of it. So, he's, past being afraid.
Yep.
He's like, nothing else matters beyond just being afraid of whatever.
Yeah, the person I fell in love with is just an elaborate ruse.
So if I gotta drag you up here,
and I had to go to trial for this, I had to go, to a mental institution. So you feel like you understand it, because if you don't think about those aspects, you're just like, all right, guy, come on, you're just being crazy. But really, this
guy's been through the ringer.
Yeah, been through the ringer, exactly. Like, when you think about that aspect, it's like, wow, yeah, I can totally understand why this guy is doing this.
You can see, because they go through the shots of the effect with the vertigo.
Yep.
And it's just momentarily, and then he goes back up, and then he goes really high again, and they do it again, and he just does the nope. I gotta get this woman. I gotta I gotta talk to. I gotta yell at her. I gotta get it out of her. Yeah. It's secondary. That those things go, because I guess in a way they're irrational fears, right? Because like you said, you're not gonna fall.
Right.
It's like me. I don't like to go on roller coasters, but if I really had to go on a roller coaster for if it really mattered, I'm saying
I'd find a way to go on that roller coaster.
I'd just do it.
Yeah.
If I had to save my wife to get on a roller coaster to do it, I would do it.
Right.
I don't want to do it per se. You
hear that?
Just set up something where she's hostage, and then that way I'll go. I don't know.
No, it's true.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I think he's past fear. He's so
okay. So I mean that makes total sense. So I mean, basically they get up there, and then something happens where basically she's like kind of confessing to him, like, I still love you. Like, this was real.
Yep.
Am I reading that right?
Yeah. She loves
real.
him.
And then all of a sudden a nun comes up, and a scream, and she falls.
Yeah, what's going on there?
What goes on?
And then the movie ends.
And then the nun's so nonchalant about it.
She's like, God bless her.
Yeah. Why was she so nonchalant about it?
Well, I mean, you're asking me.
I know.
To explain the end. I don't.
Yeah, I mean, we could talk it out. I'm just.
So what happens?
Kind of bringing that up. Yeah.
Is she scared by the nun and falls, or does she see the nun and, one, feels guilty, or two, uses that as an opportunity to jump?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, those are the two things that cross my mind. It's like, did she slip, or did she be like, okay, I'm jumping? Like,
I think she jumps.
I can see that. Watching the movie, the way it was heading, I could have sworn that he was going to be like, okay, I'm jumping. I thought he was going to be the one to jump and be like, okay, well, you did all this, you fell in love with me. We'll see how this feels.
Yeah, it's a good call.
I'm jumping now.
Because he's like, had enough.
And who's to say that he doesn't jump right after that? Because the movie ends on him looking down on her body.
Maybe he does. Maybe he
jumps
her.
then. Yeah, I mean, it's like, what else do I have to live for?
No, that's a great call. I mean, the only reason I could think of the nun's reaction, that's very quick doing the...
Yeah.
Well, I think, she's so guilty. In that way, I think if she goes, the nun is sort of like that figure to, like, I absolve you, like... You just deserve it. I mean,
right.
In a sense.
Yeah.
I mean, she should not have done what she did.
No, definitely not. I mean, even
dies.
Even though it was that guy's idea,
right.
The husband's idea, like, you went along with it.
She goes.
You did this.
She's a guilty woman.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, despite the fact that she ends up falling for
she's
this
an
guy.
Accomplice to a murder.
Oh yeah, I mean, and then accomplice to a murder, and then screwing over Scotty. I mean,
yeah,
she tries to have it always, which is to do the plot and to get her payoff, and then to find the guy later again that she loved, and then try to carry on some kind of a normal life with him. I mean, that was bound to fail,
right? So yeah, I mean, it's a very powerful ending. Yeah, I mean that whole nun thing. I mean, it was a very abrupt ending.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I dug it. I mean, this movie was just awesome.
Yeah. I stewed on this movie for a bit.
I mean, it took a while. Like I could see how a rewatch would help.
Yeah.
But
a rewatch also spoils the...
Yeah, exactly. Like, when I first watched it, I was like, all right, where is this movie going? Like, there was points where I was like, where is this movie going?
Right.
But I'm glad I felt that way. Like, I think that was intentional. Like, you were supposed to feel that way. Like, I think it was definitely a slow burn.
Yeah.
Like, it took a while to get where, it was trying to go.
But once it got going, then it was not slow at all.
No. not at all.
It's like endless, like
Yeah.
psychological craziness.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think this is one of the best movies I have ever seen.
Yeah. I mean, it was very powerful. I'm super glad you recommended this, and chose for this to be on the show this week. I can't wait to do my movie next. But no, this seriously was really good.
I want to get into more Hitchcock.
Absolutely, yeah, I totally agree with that, because I mean, because are you familiar with a lot of his work, or
I've seen,
is there still stuff?
I've seen a handful of his.
Okay,
I mean, he's made like 30 movies or something like that.
I always think like Psycho's the go-to, so that's like
I'm not actually the biggest Psycho fan.
Really?
So, yeah.
Okay.
I mean, it's good, but
Yeah.
I'd like to. Honestly, if we ran through his catalog, it'd be good. But this is definitely his best, I would say. And I mean, when I say I think this is one of the best movies ever made, I'm not kidding.
Yeah.
I think this is a brilliant film.
Yeah. And again, it's a movie that marinates. Like once you let it marinate, like the more you like realize how good it is.
Yeah, I mean, you can have favorites, but to say a movie is artistically, technically better done than this movie, it's a hard argument. I'm just gonna say that.
Yeah.
I mean, you hear about your, God. I mean, Orson Welles, and it's like but this is an eminently watchable movie.
Yeah. No, definitely.
I mean, this isn't like a Citizen Kane where you're like, I don't know.
It's like, what was I supposed to like about that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
This movie blows your mind.
Yeah, this movie had you just enthralled. It had you captivated, just like. And had you wanting to know what was going to happen next, and just the unpredictability of it was just outstanding. Just like for especially, I mean, even for a 2017 movie.
Yeah, this is an outstanding movie. I cannot say how much I love this movie.
And let us know what you think of this movie, folks, at BlockbusterCast on Twitter. But I know I already had asked most of my questions in the movie, because we have our next segment is called "Who's the Idiot, Me or the Movie?" And the only other question I had is, it's called Vertigo. I know, why do you think the emphasis was on Vertigo?
I'm not sure, unless it's just a general confusion to your surroundings, maybe, or to what's happening. You're like, not obsessed, but because the movie is about obsession. But maybe you're focused on something that's happening. You're not perceiving reality correctly.
Oh yeah. Okay. No, that makes sense, because this whole movie, like, we're perceiving something, halfway through that is not the case.
I think that's what that is. I think that's the significance.
Yeah, that makes.
Because he's clearly. I mean, it's a definite. I mean, he goes up, 2 steps, and he can't figure out his world. And he could not figure out his world.
Yeah, and
I mean, not through his own fault, but
and us as the audience could not figure out the world until
horrible.
Yeah. Okay. No, I that's actually a really good explanation, and I think we'll go with that. That is the official consensus.
I agree.
And then Midge.
Midge, yeah.
I mean, was she needed? I mean. Why was it a girl?
Not per se.
Why was it someone that was his old fiance? That whole painting thing where she painted herself on that painting.
Oh, that was one of the cheesiest moments I've ever seen.
Why did I do that? Or whatever she said.
Yeah, because she did a duplicate of that. I don't even know. She obviously was stalking him.
Any thoughts on Midge?
No, not necessary. Other than to just show or alternate jealousy by the female of a man that is pursuing another woman. That's all I could.
Just an interesting choice for a 1958 film to just have a man just have a buddy as a female,
Yeah, I mean, it's all kind of weird to think about it, because he's an older man who's single, and she's a not young woman who's also single, and then they've also hooked up, clearly.
And we're engaged for 3 weeks or something.
Yeah, it's an interesting character choice. Yeah, it would have been better, well, not better, but if he had a friend, it is a bit jarring.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
What, did you have any questions?
No, I think that's it. The only thing is how she managed when he was tracking her in that hotel and saw her open up the windows, and then goes and talks to the clerk or owner or whatever. Yeah. And I guess she lied to him that she's like, I don't know, she didn't check in.
Yeah, that was weird. That makes me think, like, was this whole movie in his head? was this? I read something that like was his whole life flashing before his eyes when he was hanging from the gutter.
Not prepared to handle
that kind of thing. I don't believe that. The only thing I can think of with that is that the clerk was in on it.
I guess he was paid off. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's the only. That's the first thing I come to, but there might be more of an explanation there. So
that's a hell of a movie to concoct in your head as your life's about to end. But
yeah,
good for him to just screw himself with a bad twist.
All right, you're right.
I mean, it's possible. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't like that. Like I said, I read it on the internet. But yeah, terrific movie. Let us know what you think of those that ending. What you think each thing means.
My God.
Yeah, see it.
This is like required viewing, right?
Yeah, I can now see why this is on so many top 10 lists, top whatever lists. Best movie of all time. No.
No, I mean, I'm willing to say it.
Well,
I've got, Raging Bull and this one are competing for the best movies I've ever seen.
Okay. Interesting.
I cannot shake this movie out of my mind. And when I see it again, the first part of it, which I know is a misdirection.
When you watched it a few months ago and then watched it tonight, did you watch any in between that?
No, that was
okay.
No. But my very first viewing, not knowing what was going to happen, I was blown. I mean, blown away. I mean, I'm assuming you're feeling the same thing.
Yeah.
It's like, what?
Yeah, I know. Yeah, it's just, I can't believe how unpredictable.
There's so many levels. I mean, we could go on and on. Yeah. There's so many levels here of, what you feel about what's real in your relationship. Is, here's a woman who's not actually, you're in love with someone that doesn't exist. You're obsessed with a person that does not exist. But yet that person's in front of you,
right? Yeah,
and you're trying to get them to
portray. You're in love with the idea of this person. It's just crazy. It's a mind f.
Madeline never existed.
Right.
Literally,
the person he knew as Madeline, never existed. Yeah.
And she died.
Yeah.
Ugh.
It's just I
know, right?
Yeah, we can go on and on about this. Yeah, I mean it's some deep shit.
One of the most. It's like when I saw Raging Bull at the end, and I remember the end. It's just I feel sad and sorry. And this one, I'm like, I don't know. It affects me in a different way.
Yeah.
But I mean, we've all have our favorites. But yeah, I think this is. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love it. Do you have a rating?
I do have a rating. I give this 4 stars and 2 buckets of popcorn.
All right, I'm gonna say 4.5 stars, leaning on 5, and 3 buckets of popcorn.
Look at you, 3 buckets.
3.
That entertaining, huh?
Oh yeah, I mean, this is a 2-hour movie, and you don't know what's going to happen the entire time.
Yeah,
you're led on one path and then redirected in a completely crazy path. So yeah, I mean, but yeah, 4.5 leaning on 5 and 3 buckets.
All right, well there you have it. All right, folks, well be sure to subscribe to us on YouTube, on iTunes, all that, comment, review. All that jazz. Follow us on Twitter at BlockbusterCast. Our personal accounts are at BCcord.
I'm at Dave_Quist.
And I really appreciate you bringing up this movie and suggesting it to do on the show. Definitely a movie I can't believe I've never visited as much as we did today. So, all right, folks. Well, that is it for Blockbuster Mentality. For Davo, I'm Ben Secord. And as always, grab some popcorn, grab some snacks. We'll catch you guys
at the movies.
Yeah.